शङ्करांश भूम शङ्करार्यपीठसद्गुरुन् शुद्धसत्त्वभासुरान् सुवर्त्मनीतभूसुरान् सर्वभूतसौख्यदान् क्षमाकरान् यतीश्वरान्।
श्रीमते शंकरार्याय धीमते अद्भुतशक्तये नमोस्तद्वैत सिद्धांत स्थापनोपात्तमूर्तये श्रीहरिं परमानन्दं पदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः। So we have to take up the shloka number 122. Yeah. So the earlier shloka 120, 122 we have seen already. Yatra yatra manoyati brahmanaha tatra darshanat manaso dharanam chaiva dharana sa paramata. विषयेष्वात्मतां दृष्ट्वा मनश्चिति मज्जनं प्रत्याहारस्य विज्ञेयो अभ्यसनीयो मुमुक्षुभिः। Oh, 120 up to 120 we have seen. That is up to the pranayama. Pranayama has got three aspects. One is puraka, that is taking in the breath. Then the other one is rechaka, that is leaving out the breath. And the third one is kumbhaka, retaining the breath. But in this Vedanta, these three have different significance. Taking in is contemplating that one is Brahman. Then leaving out is leaving out the idea that the world is real. And what is retaining is the affirming of these two aspects, that one is Brahman and that world is not there. So this affirmation is called kumbhaka. So up to this we have seen already. So in this next one is the pratyahara. After pranayama, the idea of pratyahara is there. That is now to be taken up. 121 shloka.
Vishayeshvatmatam drishtva manasaschiti majjanam pratyaharasa vigneyo abhyasaniyo mumukshubhihi. Vishayeshu, in all objects, atmatam, expression of one's self, drishtva, seeing or realizing, manasaha, of the mind, chiti, in the consciousness, majjanam, absorption, pratyaharaha, pratyahara, saha, that, vigneyaha, is to be known, abhyasaniyaha, should be practiced, mumukshubhihi, by those desiring liberation.
So in the yoga system, the word pratyahara or the concept of pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses from the sense objects. But here it has a different meaning. Vishayeshu atmatam drishtva manasaha chiti majjanam. That is, here also there is the participation of the objects, sense objects are there. But then here, instead of focusing on withdrawing the senses from the sense objects, the contemplation that the Atman alone is appearing as this sense objects. So the Atman or Brahman alone is appearing as sense objects. So when we take, try to cultivate that view, the name and form of the objects which make the objects what they are, that is being disregarded. So that disregarding the name and form and affirming that it is Brahman alone, that is called pratyahara in this Vedanta abhyasa. Vishayeshu atmatam drishtva. In the Vishaya is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. That is the sense objects. In that is sense objects are to be seen as Atman, that is Nirguna Brahma Chaitanyam or Atma Chaitanyam, and the name and form of those objects have to be disregarded. And this has to happen with every type of object, whether it is shabda or sparsha or rupa or rasa or gandha. So the name and for everyone will, each one of the sense objects will have a name and form distinct to itself. That has to be disregarded. That is what is being stressed here. Drishtva manasaha chiti majjanam. So by doing that, the mind has to be immersed in Brahman or Atman or pure consciousness. Actually, here the Vishayas are actually they are not consciousness. They are jada. They are prakriti. They are made of prakriti, panchabhutas. But the Atman is never of that nature. But still, we are so much attached to the sense objects to the extent of taking them to be our own self also. So here the exercise is meant to disregarding the jada aspect of everything and seeing the Atma Chaitanyam aspect of everything and immersing the mind in pure consciousness. That is called pratyahara, and this has to be practiced again and again because it is not easy to achieve this pure pratyahara, so it has to be practiced again and again. In the commentary, the Acharya says, Idanim pratyaharam lakshayati vishayeshviti. Vishayeshu is ghatadishu. That is, first meaning he is giving for objects any object that we encounter, like pot, cloth, or whatever. He is giving another example, another interpretation also for that. Yadva shabdadishu anvaya vitireka atmatam satta spuratta priyata matratam drishtva anusandhaya manasaha antakarnasya chiti majjanam namarupa kriyanusandhana rahityena chitsvarupataya avasthanam saha pratyaharaha. So here the other interpretation is seeing the world as mere shabdasparsha rupa rasa gandha. See, the difference is actually Gata also has got shabdasparsha and all that. But then when we try to dissolve the pot or any object into its nature, that is taking it as shabdasparsha and all that, then we are going to a more abstract level. So the pot, cloth and all that are very, very concrete level, but then we have to transcend that and try to go to the abstract level. That is the abstract nature of the objects. So yadva shabdadishu anvaya vitirekabhyam atmatam satta spuratta priyata matratam drishtva. So what is this anvaya vitireka? Each object, in every object, as we have seen, there is a very famous shloka. Asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyamsha panchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam maya rupam or jagat rupam tatodvayam. So the shloka says each and every object has 5 aspects. The 5 aspects are Asti Bhati Priyam, that is, the object is existing. So that existence aspect is there in an object. Then Bhati, it has got a shine aspect. So it is becoming an object of my consciousness. So it has got a shine object that is called a Bhati. Then Priyam, each and every object is an object of love or desire or liking for any person at any time. So the same object may not be liked by the same person all the time, but at different levels of different periods of time, the same object might be liked by this person or any other jiva. So this rule is there for every object. So the priya aspect also is there in the object, and the other 2 aspects are nama and rupa. That is the name and form. So the shloka says that the first 3 asti bhati priyam, that is corresponding to the Brahma Rupam, that is Sat Chit Ananda, and the other 2 are Maya Rupam, that is the contribution of Maya to this world. So this Nama Rupa aspect has to be given up or disregarded or relegated to the background as insignificant, and the Asti Bhati Priyam, that alone has to be recognized in every object. So this exercise is very, very involving. So he says, Shabdadishu Anvaya Vitirekabhyam Atmatam Satta Spuratta Priyata Matratam. So in Atma, this Satta Spuratta and Priyata is there. Whereas in the objects, directly they are not seen, but we have to see that the objects also have this these three aspects, and the nama rupa are not there in Atman, whereas the nama rupa are there in the objects only. So the sattva spurata, they are all not, no, they are not, they can't be recognized on the face of it, but then we have to see that it is there. So the nama rupa aspects which is not there in Atman, which are there in the in the objects, and the Atma aspects of Asti, Bhati, and Priyam, they are really not there, but then we have to see that the Atma is what is shining there. So here the Vedanta also teaches us that there is a kind of a mutual superimposition, Anyonya Adhyasa. So the Anyonya Adhyasa is in the body. If we take the body as the Anatma, the body has the nature of, is of the nature of Jara only, because it's the product of Panchabhutas. But then due to Adhyasa, we take the body to be ourselves. So what we are doing is we are transferring the nature of ourself, that is the existence aspect, the shine aspect, and the Priya aspect onto the body. And from the body, the aspect of being a Jada and being of Dukkha Swarupa and being the non-existent body is taken to be existing. So these three opposite aspects are mutually transferred to each other, and this is how the adhyasa happens. So it is Anvaya Vyatireka, the true nature of each of these, the body and the Atma has to be recognized, and the properties of these two have to be applied respectively in the correct manner. So that is what is meant by this Anvaya Vyatireka exercise. Drishtva Anusandhaya Manasaha Antakarnasya Chiti Majjanam. So the mind has to be withdrawn from the Namarupa aspect of the objects, and it has to be focused on the consciousness aspect of the object, consciousness, Ananda and bliss and existence. So Majjanam, Nama Rupa Kriyanusandhana Rahityena. So Nama, Rupa, and Kriya, these three are there in every object. There is a form, there is a name, there is a form, and there is an action involved with it, with any object. So these three have to be Anusandhana Rahityena. These have to be relegated to the background. Chitsarupa Taya Avasthanam Saha Pratyaharaha. So one has to remain oneself as the pure consciousness by doing this analysis with respect to every object. This is called Pratyahara. Tataha Kim. So what is the purpose of making this analysis? He says, the shloka says, Abhyasaniyaha mumukshubhihi. This has to be very consciously, very ardently, in an involved manner. It has to be practiced for a long time. That is why the shloka says, one shloka says, Dadyan na avasaram kinchit kamadinam managapi asupte amrite kalam naye vedanta chintaya. So that shloka says that without giving room for any of the detrimental moods or detrimental properties, one has to consciously remain in the Atma Swarupam from the in all the waking hours and throughout the life. So that is the shloka. So here also that exercise is that's what is demanded in this shloka. So Mundin Vattira, Yatra
Yatra mano yati brahmanas tatra darshanat manaso dharanam chaiva dharana sa paramata. Yatra, wherever manaha, the mind, yati, goes, brahmanaha, of the truth, tatra, there, darshanat, from the vision, manasaha, of the mind, dharanam, holding, of studying, cha, and eva, alone, dharana, that is concentration, sa, that, paramata, supreme, is known.
So the Patanjali Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, and the next one is Dharana. So that Dharana, in that system, in the Patanjali system, it is focusing the mind for brief periods in a particular object. or in a particular aspect of the object for brief periods. So that is called dharana. Because why that brief period is mentioned is a person will not be able to stay longer in a focused manner. So that pre-samadhi state is, or the pre-samadhi state is dharana. After dharana there is dhyana, and after dhyana only samadhi is there. So this dharana is the preliminary for meditation. So here this dharana, but in Vedanta the dharana acquires a different color. Yatra yatra manoyati brahmanaha tatra darshanat manasaha dharanam chaiva dharana sa paramata. So the mind is of the nature of wandering. So this exercise instructs, wherever the mind wanders, you try to visualize that object as Brahman. So whatever to whichever place or to whichever object the mind wanders, that aspect has to be seen to be Brahman, because in Vedanta, Brahman alone appears as the whole world. So everything is Brahman alone, but then without knowing that it is Brahman, we are focusing on the Nama Rupa aspect. So here it says, Yatra yatra manoyati brahmanaha tatra darshanat. By perceiving Brahman there in every object, one has to practice this dharana. Manasaha dharanam cheva dharana sa paramata. So this dharana is said to be of the highest order. So in the commentary, we have got a lot of things to be learned. Dharanam lakshayati yatreti. Yatra yatra yasmin padarte manaha yati gacchati tatra brahmanaha sattadi matrasya namadi upekshaya darshanat anusandhanat manasaha dharanam brahmanyeva sthirikaranam dharana ityartha. So dharana has been very nicely defined here. Yatra yatra yasmin padarte manoyati gacchati. To whichever place, to whichever object, following whichever object. So the object can be shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. It could be some music towards which the mind is galloping, or it could be some smell coming from somewhere to which the mind is drawing us towards. So all these things are there in this yatra yatra manoyati. Tatra brahmanaha sattadi matrasya namadi upekshaya. So that has to be seen as Brahman. So what is the method? In the previous sloka it has been taught that each object has got these 3 plus 2 5 aspects are there. So the first 3 have to be focused upon, whereas the latter 2 will have to be disregarded. Namadi upekshaya. Upeksha is disregarded. So nama and rupa and kriya. These have to be disregarded. Darshanat, anusandhanat. So this darshana means, what is meant by darshana? It is not seeing with the eyes, but it is the contemplation. Anusandhanat, manasaha dharanam. The mind has to be kept there. Dharanam is actually keeping the mind there, or holding the mind there. Manasaha dharanam, brahmanyeva dharanam, sthirikarana dharana ityartha. To attain establishment or deep-rootedness, or affirming that I am Brahman, or this is Brahman, everything Brahman. So this practice is called dharana. Nano adharadi shatchakra madhye ekatra manasaha dharanam dharana iti prasiddham ata aha sethi. But then this dharana has got a very popular connotation, and that connotation comes with these 6 chakras in the body. These 6 chakras have been named Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, and Agna. So these are the 7 chakras which are recognized in the Shastra. So the contemplation or the focusing the mind, or riveting the mind to one or the other chakras. Of course, this has to be done in a very organized and sequential manner. So that is called dharana. But you are saying something different. So there is a question here. So he says, Sa atra ukta lakshana dharana para utkashta mata. So the dharana that is mentioned in this Vedanta is of a higher order. So that means the focusing on the chakras is of a lower order. So this dharana is considered to be of a higher order, para mata, utkashta mata. Tattvabodha vatam iti sheshaha. So this sloka doesn't have one particular aspect, that the commentary is adding. So for whom is this considered to be very of a very high order? For those people who are who have recognized Brahman, or who have practiced this and attained Brahman. So Tattvabodhavatam iti sheshaha. So for the enlightened ones, this is the kind of dharana that is very, very of a very high order. That is, from their point of view, it is of a very high order. Anyatu Patanjala Abhimata Pranayamadi Vate Apara Bhavaha. But the other dharana that is very popularly known from the Patanjali system, that is of a lower order, apara. So that is the idea. So he is saying that just like pranayama, where we consider the pranayama to be of this contemplating on the Brahman and contemplating on the unreality of the world to be pranayama, but not the holding the breath or drawing in the breath and leaving out the breath. That is not the one. So he had very kind of sarcastically had said grana pidanam. That is the subjecting the nose organ to some pain. So that is called dharana. That is what is the dharana, which is very popular. So that is not the dharana. Sorry, that is not the pranayama which is meant in this Vedanta, but it is different. So in the same way, for dharana also, it is of a different nature, and this is the higher. This is of a higher order. Cha eva iti abhyavyam Vedanta Vidvat Anubhava Prasidhim Jyotayati. So this sloka also conveys to us that this is the true real dharana which is popular in the Vedantic domain. So Mundina Shloka 123.
Brahmaivasmiti sadvritya niralambataya stitihi Dhyana Shabdena Vikyata Paramananda Daini. Brahma, truth, eva, alone, asmi, am, iti, sadvritya, by such constant, unassailable thought, niralambataya, depending on nothing, stitihi, remaining, dhyana shabdena, by the term dhyana, vikyata, well known, Paramananda Daini, bestower of supreme bliss.
So from the dharana state, one has to progress or evolve to the dhyana state. So that dhyana is being spoken of in this sloka as Brahmaivasmiti sadvritya niralambataya stitihi. So with the firm conviction, with the idea that I am Brahman and nothing else. So that is with that firm conviction, one has to remain in Brahman, niralambataya, without taking recourse to anything outside. So here also a person until he becomes an Aparoksha Jnani, he will have to take recourse to Brahman. But once he becomes an Aparoksha Jnani, there's no need or there's no point, there's no way also one takes to something, recourse to something else, because he himself is Brahman, and that Brahman is the abode of everything in creation. So that is he realizes himself to be the adhishtanam for everything. So here, for any dharana or dhyana, one has to have a hold, one has to have a object to lean upon for dharana or dhyana. So here he says, without leaning upon anything, one has to contemplate that one is Brahman alone. So Brahmaivasmi iti sadvritya. So that sadvritti is the highest order. That Sat is a way of very, very great significance here. It means existence. It means exemplary or very, very exalted. Sadvritya, niralambataya sthiti, without any alambana, without any alamanam. Alamanam is support. So without taking any recourse to anything outside, one has to remain. See, the mind is of the nature that it always wants some or the other support. It takes support on this object or that object or this person or that person, this event or that event, so this mood or that mood. But then the mind can never be without leaning upon anything outside. But then here the instruction is to restrain the mind from leaning on something else outside, but leaning on Brahman by realizing that one is Brahman itself. This is called dhyana. Dhyana shabdena vikhyata Paramananda Daini. So this exercise will definitely lead to the experience of great bliss. So in the commentary, the Acharya says, Atha Atmadhyanam Rakshayati Brahmaiveti. Sadvritya, Sati, Pramanantara, Badha, Ayogya, Vritti, Taya, Vritya. So Sat, the word Sat is given the meaning that it is the ultimate reality which will not be contradicted by any other pramana. So Pramanantara, Badha, Ayogya, Vritti. This is called Sat really, that's called existence. That is, it is abadhyam, abadhyatvam, satyatvam. Abadhyatvam means it is not contradicted by any other pramana at any time. So Pramanantara Badha Ayogya Vritti Taya Vritya Niralambataya Dehadi Anusandhana Rahityena Sthitihi. So without taking recourse to the thinking or contemplating on the Panchakoshas, that is considering oneself to be the Panchakoshas or any of the Panchakoshas at that moment. So that kind of alambanam should not be taken recourse to. So Dehadi Anusandhana Rahityena Sthitihi Avasthanam Ityarthaha. So this is the dhyanam, which gives great bliss to a person, because any other exercise is of a tiring nature. So true bliss will not come from that exercise. But then that kind of a pravritti or vyavahara. Whereas here, without doing anything, without doing anything, a person starts experiencing or enjoying one's own inner bliss. So that's what is the effect of or the result of dhyana. So Nirvikarataya.
Nirvikarataya Vritya Brahmakarataya Punaha Vritti Vismaranam Samyak Samadhir Jnana Sanyakaha. Nirvikarataya Vritya, through changelessness of thought. Brahmakarataya, through identification with the truth. Punaha, again. Vritti Vismaranam, forgetfulness of all thoughts, mental activity. Samyak, complete. Samadhihi, samadhi. Jnana Sanyakaha, called knowledge.
So here it is taking the form of pure knowledge. Whereas in the earlier exercises, it is a kind of karma. Now it is a kind of action. Whereas this samadhi, even though it is also an action, it dovetails into jnana, knowledge. So that is a beautiful difference between the all the exercises prior to samadhi and samadhi. Nirvikarataya Vritya. So the vritti doesn't undergo any vikara, that is, it doesn't undergo any transformation. Brahmakarataya Punaha. So Brahmakara is the Akhandakara. The Antakaranam takes the form of Brahman itself without taking recourse to the form of the Panchakoshas or the objects outside or the persons outside or any other event outside. It is purely of the nature, taking the nature of Brahman and remains there, established. Punaha, Vritti Vismaranam Samyak Samadhi Jnana Sanyakaha. So the Vritti Vismaranam is to even be unconscious of the existence of a Vritti. So that is why in the Samadhi it is being defined as Swarupa Matra Bodha. So only the Swarupa alone is what is being perceived by the person. So there the tripity also is lost, or the tripity is transcended. So that is called Samadhi. And it is called jnana. So this is not any action or any fruit of action, but it is pure jnana. Atha antyam samadhi rupam panchadasham angam lakshayati nirvikarataya iti. So this is the 15th and last anga, because in some when we started this exercise, he had said in the shloka number 100. Tripanchangani atho vakshye purvoktasya hi labdhaye taishya sarvai sada karyam nididhyasanamevatu. So this 15-step exercise has been called nididhyasanam, and now each one has been detailed, and the last one is called samadhi. So this shloka has got quite a lengthy commentary. We will take this up in the next class. We will end this session here. शास्त्रं शारीरमीं चिकित्सा देवस्तु परमेश्वरः आचार्य शंकराचार्य सन्तु मे जन्म जन्मनि विद्याविनय संपन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदांत तत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखर भारतीं श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम् अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः। ॐ तत्सत्।